Namaste and welcome back to another session of online mathematics class. Today we shall discuss a new topic, the midpoint theorem. It's one of the important theorem in this chapter. Let's move on to the topic, the midpoint theorem. This theorem states that a line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. A line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. Let us consider one triangle, name it as ABC, and take the midpoints of the sides AB and AC as E and F. If we join a line segment connecting these 2 points, that is EF, it will be parallel to the third side BC. That's given in the theorem. So here in triangle ABC, we can say E is the midpoint of AB. And F is the midpoint of AC. So this gives EF is parallel to BC. And in this case, also note that EF is equal to half BC. So these 2 points you have to keep in mind while learning midpoint theorem. Okay, a line segment joining the midpoints of any 2 sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half its length. Parallel to the third side and half its length. So here E and F are respectively the midpoints of AB and AC, and hence EF must be parallel to BC and length of EF is half the length of BC. That is what is known as midpoint theorem. Clear? The next is the converse of midpoint theorem. Converse of midpoint theorem. A line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle and parallel to another side bisect the third side. So the line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle parallel to another side bisect the third side. So in this triangle ABC, we can consider the midpoint of AB as E. Okay, so here E is the midpoint of AB. And we draw a line through the midpoint of AB, that means through E, and which is parallel to BC. So here we can say EF is a line parallel to BC. And by the theorem, what we can conclude? This line EF bisect the third side AC. That means we can say EAF equal to FC, or in other words, F is the midpoint of AC. Okay. So this gives F is the midpoint of AC. So the next exercise is related to these 2 theorems, midpoint theorem and the converse of midpoint theorem. Okay, let's move on to exercise 8.2. Here the first question is, ABCD is a quadrilateral in which P, Q, R and S are midpoints of the sides AB, BC, CD and DA. AC is a diagonal. show that first part SR parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. Second part PQ equal to SR and third part PQRS is a parallelogram. So we can discuss one by one. First we have to prove SR parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. So we can consider triangle ADC. This one ADC. So in triangle ADC, S is the midpoint of AD. S is the midpoint of AD. And R is the midpoint of DC. Therefore, we can apply midpoint theorem. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, and we can write SR is parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. This can be taken as equation number 1. So the first part is over. SR parallel to AC and SR is equal to half AC. Now we can consider the second part. PQ is equal to SR. For that we can consider the next triangle ABC. ABC. So in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of BC. P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of BC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, we can write PQ is parallel to AC and PQ is equal to half AC. We can consider this as equation number 2. Now we can combine these two equations. Okay, in equation 1, SR parallel to AC, SR equal to half AC. Here PQ parallel to AC and PQ equal to half AC. So what we can conclude? SR parallel to AC, PQ parallel to AC. So SR parallel to PQ. Lines which are parallel to the same line are parallel to one another. So what we can say? SR is parallel to PQ. Here SR equal to half AC, here PQ equal to half AC. RHS equal. So LHS must be equal. SR is equal to PQ or PQ is equal to SR. Okay. So from 1 and 2, we get PQ parallel to SR and EQ is equal to SR. So the second part is over. Now the third one is PQRS is a parallelogram. So from this step we can conclude PQRS is a parallelogram. Okay. Here one pair of opposite sides are parallel and equal. PQ parallel to SR, PQ equal to SR. Okay. So if in a quadrilateral a pair of opposite sides are equal and parallel, then the quadrilateral will be a parallelogram. So using that theorem, we can conclude PQRS is a parallelogram. So here we can write, since PQ parallel to SR and PQ is equal to SR, therefore PQRS is a parallelogram. So the third part is also over. Okay. Here ABCD is a rhombus and P, Q, R and S are the midpoints of the sides AB, BC, CD and DA respectively. Show that the quadrilateral PQRS is a rectangle. So first of all we can draw a rhombus. And name it as ABCD. Then the midpoints we can mark PQRS. And we can join these midpoints. We will get a quadrilateral PQRS, and we have to prove this quadrilateral PQRS is a rectangle. Okay. First we can join this diagonal AC. And we can prove PQRS is a parallelogram. First we are going to prove PQRS is a parallelogram. For that we can write the steps as we have discussed in the first question. Okay. The same procedure. So we can consider triangle ADC. So in triangle ADC, S is the midpoint of AD. And R is the midpoint of DC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, we can write SR is parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. Take it as equation 1. Now we can consider the triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AB. And Q is the midpoint of BC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, what we can write PQ parallel to AC and PQ equal to half AC. Take it as equation number 2. And from 1 and 2 we can conclude SR parallel to PQ and SR equal to PQ, and hence what PQRS is a parallelogram. Okay. So from 1 and 2 we get SR parallel to PQ and SR equal to PQ. Therefore, PQRS is a parallelogram. Now we have to prove this parallelogram is a rectangle. For that, it's enough to prove one angle is equal to 90 degree. Okay. If one angle of a parallelogram is 90 degree, then it becomes a rectangle. Okay. So here we can construct one more line. We can join the diagonal BD also. Quadrilateral ABCD we are given, it is a rhombus. And we know the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Right. The diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of one another. So if we mark the point of intersection as O, then here we can mark the angle as 90 degree. Here we can mark M and here N. And now we are going to prove the quadrilateral OMPN. OMPN is a parallelogram. We are going to prove the quadrilateral OMPN, this smaller one, is a parallelogram. And if it is a parallelogram, what we can say? The opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. So we can prove this angle, angle P. or angle MPN. This angle will be equal to 90 degrees. So we can arrive at the conclusion that the quadrilateral PQRS is a rectangle. Okay. So here PQ parallel to AC implies PN parallel to MO. PQ parallel to AC implies PN is parallel to MO. Similarly, E is the midpoint of AB and S is the midpoint of AD. So PS is parallel to BD. PS parallel to BD. So PS parallel to BD implies PM is parallel to NO. And we can combine these two steps. PN parallel to MO and PM parallel to NO. PM parallel to NO and PN parallel to MO. That means each pair of opposite sides of the quadrilateral OMPN are parallel. Okay, that means the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Right. So here we can write, therefore OMPN is a parallelogram. Okay. Since ABCD is a rhombus, we know the diagonals bisect each other at a right angle. That we can write here. Since ABCD is a rhombus, the diagonals bisect each other at right angles. So here we can take the angle AOB equal to 90 degree. So angle AOB equal to 90 degree. And since OMPN is a parallelogram, the opposite angles of a parallelogram are of equal measure. So angle MPN equal to angle MON, each 90 degree. But OMPN is a parallelogram. Therefore, angle MPN is equal to angle MON, which gives 90 degree. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are of equal measure. Okay, so now we got in parallelogram PQRS, one angle is 90 degree. And we know opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. So here angle P is 90 degree, so angle R also 90 degree. Then adjacent angles are supplementary. So if P 90 degree, then Q also 90 degree, 180 minus 90. Here R 90 degree, S also 90 degree, 180 minus 90. Okay, that means all the angles of the quadrilateral will be equal to 90 degree. And hence the quadrilateral will be a rectangle. Okay, so here we can write, in parallelogram PQRS, angle P is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, PQRS is a rectangle. Clear? Here the next question is, ABCD is a rectangle. So we can draw on rectangle ABCD, and P, Q, R and S are midpoints of sides AB, BC, CD and DA respectively. So we can mark the midpoints as P, Q, R and S. Show that quadrilateral PQRS is a rhombus. Okay, so we can join these points. We have to prove this quadrilateral PQRS is a rhombus. So we are given a rectangle ABCD and P comma Q comma R and S are the midpoints of the sides respectively. We have to prove the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints is a rhombus. Okay. So as we have done in the previous two questions, here also we can do the same thing first. We can join the diagonal AC and we can prove PQRS is a parallelogram. First we are going to prove PQRS is a parallelogram. So in triangle ADC, S is the midpoint of AD and R is the midpoint of DC. So we can write SR parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. Okay, so S is the midpoint of AD and R is the midpoint of DC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, SR parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. Take it as equation 1. Similarly, we can consider the triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AB, Q is the midpoint of BC. So PQ parallel to AC and PQ equal to half AC. Okay. P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of BC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, PQ parallel to AC and PQ is equal to half AC. Take it as equation number 2. And from 1 and 2 we can write here SR parallel to AC, here PQ parallel to AC. So SR parallel to PQ. SR parallel to PQ and SR equal to half AC, PQ equal to half AC. So SR equal to PQ. Therefore, PQRS is a parallelogram. So the first part is over. So now we get PQRS is a parallelogram and we want to prove it is a rhombus. When a parallelogram becomes a rhombus, all the four sides are equal. Okay. Or if the adjacent sides of a parallelogram are equal, then it becomes a rhombus. That means if PQ equal to PS, then we can conclude what? The parallelogram PQRS is a rhombus. Okay. In rectangle ABCD, we know opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. We can take the sides AD and BC. AD equal to BC. And we can take the half on both sides. Half AD equal to half BC. We are given S is the midpoint of AD. So half of AD means AS. That is AS equal to, and Q is the midpoint of BC. So half of BC means BQ. So AS is equal to BQ. Now we can consider the two triangles, namely PAS and PBQ. PAS and PBQ. Now in triangle PAS and the triangle PBQ, we are going to prove these two triangles are congruent. Okay. So first we can write AP is equal to BP. Since P is the midpoint of AB, AP and PB are of equal length. Since P is the midpoint of AB And the next point is AS equal to BQ. That we have proved. And being a rectangle, all angles will be equal to 90 degree. So here we can take the angle PAS and angle PBQ. Angle PAS is equal to angle PBQ, each 90 degree. Therefore, triangle PAS is congruent to triangle PBQ by SAS congruence rule. And by CPCT, we can write PS equal to PQ. So, PS is equal to PQ, CPCT. Okay, that means in this parallelogram PQRS, the adjacent sides are equal. So, what we can conclude? PQRS is a rhombus. Okay. So, here we can write in parallelogram PQRS, the adjacent sides PS is equal to PQ, and hence PQRS is a rhombus. Okay. Now we move on to question number 4. ABCD is a trapezium in which AB parallel to DC, BD is a diagonal, and E is the midpoint of AD. Here E is the midpoint of AD. A line is drawn through E parallel to AB. That means this line EF is parallel to AB, intersecting BC at F, intersecting the side BC at F. Show that F is the midpoint of BC. We have to prove F is the midpoint of BC. Okay. So we are given a trapezium ABCD. Given ABCD is a trapezium in which the parallel sides are AB and DC. AB parallel to DC. Okay. We are also given this line is parallel to AB. Also given EF is parallel to AB. Now we can consider the triangle DAB. DAB. So in triangle DAB, E is the midpoint of AD. E is the midpoint of AD and EG is parallel to AB. EF is parallel to AB. It is given. So EG must be parallel to AB. Okay. And EG is parallel to AB since EF parallel to AB. Okay. So we can apply the converse of midpoint theorem. Therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, a line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle and parallel to the other side bisect the third side. Okay. So we can say G is the midpoint of DB. Okay. G is the midpoint of DB. G is the midpoint of DB. Now we can consider the triangle BCD, this one BCD. So in triangle BCD, we have proved that G is the midpoint of BD. G is the midpoint of BD, and we can say GF is parallel to DC. GF parallel to DC. Why? AB and DC are parallel. Okay, ABCD is a trapezium in which AB parallel to DC, and this line EF is parallel to AB. So EF must be parallel to DC also. So we can say what? GF is parallel to DC. Here also we can apply the converse of midpoint theorem. So therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, we can say F is the midpoint of DC. F is the midpoint of BC. Hence the proof. Clear? Here the next question is, in a parallelogram ABCD, E and F are the midpoints of sides AB and CD respectively. So ABCD is a parallelogram in which E is the midpoint of AB and F is the midpoint of DC. Show that the line segments AF and EC. The line segments AF and EC trisect the diagonal BD. Trisect means divide into three equal parts. Okay. Trisect the diagonal BD. That means DP equal to PQ equal to QB. That we have to prove. Clear? So being it is a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel and equal. So AB parallel to DC implies we can write AE parallel to FC. Okay. And AB equal to DC. So AB equal to DC implies we can take the half on both sides. Half AB equal to half DC. Since E is the midpoint of AB, we can write the half of AB as AE. Okay. So that is AE is equal to, and F is the midpoint of DC, so half of DC is FC. So AE is equal to FC. Now we can combine these two steps. AE parallel to FC and AE equal to FC. AE parallel to FC, AE equal to FC. So AECF, this one. AECF is a parallelogram. One pair of opposite sides are parallel and equal. Okay. Since AE parallel to FC and AE equal to FC, comma, we get AECF is a parallelogram. Okay, and since it is a parallelogram, the other sides, that is CE is parallel to FA or EC parallel to AF. So EC parallel to AF also. Opposite sides of parallelogram. Now we can consider triangle DQC first. In triangle DQC, F is the midpoint of DC. F is the midpoint of DC and the line FP is parallel to CQ. FP parallel to CQ. Therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, we can say P is the midpoint of DQ. Therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, we can write P is the midpoint of DQ. Okay, and from this statement what we can write? DP is equal to PQ. P is the midpoint of DQ. So DP and PQ must be equal. And now we can consider the triangle ABP. Okay, ABP. Here E is the midpoint of AB and EQ is parallel to AP. EQ is parallel to AP. So we can conclude Q is the midpoint of BP. Q is the midpoint of BP, and hence we can write PQ is equal to QB. So DP equal to PQ and PQ equal to QB. That means the line segment AF and EC trisect the diagonal BD. Okay. So since P is the midpoint of DQ, we can write DP equal to PQ. Therefore, DP equal to PQ. We can take it as equation number 1. Okay. Now we can consider triangle ABP. In triangle ABP, E is the midpoint of AB. E is the midpoint of AB. And the line EQ parallel to AP. EQ parallel to AP. Therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, and we can write Q is the midpoint of PB. Q is the midpoint of PB. So we can write PQ equal to QB. We can take it as equation number 2. Now we can combine equation 1 and 2. In equation 1, DP equal to PQ. Here PQ is equal to QB. That means all the three values are equal. So from 1 and 2, we get DP is equal to PQ is equal to QB. Therefore, we can conclude the line segments AF and EC trisect the diagonal BD. Here the next question is, show that the line segment joining the midpoints of the opposite sides of a quadrilateral bisect each other. So we can consider on quadrilateral, name it as ABCD. The line segments joining the midpoints of the opposite sides. So we can mark the midpoints of the sides and join the midpoints of opposite sides. P, Q, R and S. Here we have to prove these line segments bisect each other. That means PR and SQ bisect each other. So this can be proved in a very simple manner. First of all, we can join PQ, then QR, RS and SP. Then we can draw the diagonal AC. So first we can prove PQRS is a parallelogram. That we have proved in first 3 questions. The same procedure we can follow here. PQRS is a parallelogram. For that we can consider triangle ADC. So in triangle ADC, what we can write, S is the midpoint of AD. Then R is the midpoint of DC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, SR parallel to AC and SR equal to half AC. Take it as equation number 1. Now we can take the triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AB, Q is the midpoint of BC. P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of BC. Therefore, we can say PQ parallel to AC and PQ equal to half AC. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, PQ parallel to AC and PQ is equal to half AC. Take it as equation number 2. By combining equation 1 and 2, we get SR parallel to PQ and SR equal to PQ, which implies PQRS is a parallelogram. Okay, and consider the line segments PR and SQ. Here PR and QS are the diagonals of this parallelogram PQRS. Okay, PR and QS are the diagonals of the parallelogram PQRS, and we know the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Okay, so what we can conclude? PR and QS bisect each other. That we have to prove. Clear? So we can write, since the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other, therefore PR and QS bisect each other. Hence the proof. Okay. Now we move on to the last question in this exercise. ABC is a triangle right angled at C. So we can consider a right triangle right angled at C. A line through the midpoint M of hypotenuse AB. So we can mark the midpoint of the hypotenuse as M, and a line through the midpoint M of hypotenuse AB and parallel to BC, parallel to the base BC, intersect AC at D. So we can draw a line like this. Here we can mark D. Okay. Show that D is the midpoint of AC. Clearly we can say D is the midpoint of AC by converse of midpoint theorem, because here M is the midpoint of AB and MD is parallel to BC. Okay. So we can write, in triangle ABC, M is the midpoint of AB and MD is parallel to BC. Therefore, by converse of midpoint theorem, we can write D is the midpoint of AC. So the first part is over. D is the midpoint of AC. Second one is MD is perpendicular to AC. So here it is given that MD is parallel to BC. So MD parallel to BC implies, we can write angle ADM. Angle ADM is equal to angle C. Okay, corresponding angles, and which is equal to 90 degree. corresponding angles. And what we can conclude? Here it is 90 degree. Angle ADM is 90 degree. So MD must be perpendicular to AC. Okay. Therefore, MD is perpendicular to AC. Clear? In order to prove the third part, we can draw one more line. We can join CM. Consider the triangle ADM and CDM. So in triangle ADM and triangle CDM, we are going to prove these two triangles are congruent. So here DM is the common side. So DM is equal to DM, common. Then angle ADM is equal to angle CDM, each 90 degree. Here 90 degree, so here also 90 degree. Then AD equal to CD. AD equal to CD because D is the midpoint of AC. D is the, that we have proved in first part, midpoint of AC. Therefore, triangle ADM is congruent to triangle CDM by SAS congruence rule. And by CPCT, we can write CM equal to MA. So CM is equal to MA CPCT. But in the question it is given that M is the midpoint of AB. M is the midpoint of AB implies MA and MB are equal. Okay. So since M is the midpoint of AB, therefore MA equal to MP. And this will be equal to half AB. Okay, which is equal to half AB. MA equal to MB, which gives half of AB. Okay. And we have proved that CM is equal to MA and MA equal to half AB. And combining these two, what we can write? CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. Okay. But CM is equal to MA. Therefore, we can write CM is equal to MA is equal to half AB. Hence the proof. Okay. So this finishes exercise 8.2 as well as the chapter quadrilaterals. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Thank you.